mind, it's believable. Saw it at the time, it's achievable. Now I got the drive, get the key to go. Got the key to go, if I believe it though.
Yeah, being in this space, I know I gotta hold my hope down. Seeing what it takes, I gotta know that I can show out.
Questioning myself if I believe it though. No longer question if I'm really a believer though. Now you should take into account that my account can build my belief. Take into account, I must account for what I really think. Being in the space, I learn to see. I only ever make what every day I can't believe. I gotta go. This the only life I know. I believe it in my mind, so I know it's time to show. This the only vibe to go. I do believe it, do you believe it? I said, are you a believer till the end? When your funds are low, can you believe in it again? No longer ever questioning yourself if you believe it though. You never questioning yourself if you believe it though.
Now there's one thing about the future, you should know that you deserve it all. Landing on the moon, take a belief that's going vertical.
Being in the space, I learned to see. I only ever make what every day I can't believe. I gotta go. This the only life I know. I believe it in my mind, so I know it's time to show. This the only vibe to go. I do believe it, do you believe it? I gotta go. This the only life I know. I believe it in my mind, so I know it's time to show. This the only vibe to go. I do believe it, do you believe it? Made up in my mind, it's believable. Saw it at the time, it's achievable. Now I got the drive, get the key to go. I got the key to go, if I believe it though.
Yeah,
made up in my mind, it's believable. Saw it at the time, it's achievable. Now I got the drive, get the key to go. Got the key to go, if I believe it though.
Yeah.
Now I got the drive, now I got the drive. I believe inside, I believe inside.
If you believe in yourself,
I believe inside.
I wanna see your hands up to the sky.
Family by my side,
if you're a
I
believer,
believe inside. I said, now I
let's
got
get
the
together.
drive,
Let's
now I got the
feel
drive.
this moment.
I believe
One life to
inside, I
live,
believe inside.
one life to grow.
I
Are you
believe
a
inside,
believer?
I believe
Saw
inside.
space.
With my
Changing the
family by
world.
my side, I believe inside. I said,
you a believer?
now I got the drive, now I got the drive.
Are you a believer?
I believe inside, I believe inside.
Are you a believer?
Family by my side, I believe inside. With my family by my side, I will be alright.
Since the creation of the internet, every industry has been turned upside down. Amazon changed retail. Uber changed transportation. YouTube changed video forever. With the invention of crypto, money is next. At the speed technology is growing, the future of money and securities are digital. 9 out of 10 millennials do not trust banks. The value of money relies on trust. Government debt is higher than it's ever been before. Central banks continue to print money. Fortunately, the world has a new solution. Experts predict in 7 years, 10% of the world's economy will be in crypto-based assets. Today, 1 billion people have access to the financial industry. Crypto is about empowering the other 6 billion people by banking the unbanked. Do not underestimate this. Do you wish you invested in Google, Amazon, or Netflix before anyone ever knew about them? $1,000 invested in Netflix turned to over $500,000. At Token Metrics, we help you find the next Netflix. Token Metrics users think differently about investing. They are early adopters looking for financial freedom. They are people who see a better world. A world without international borders. We believe in a world where everyone has access to the next financial revolution. At Token Metrics, we are creating a bridge that gets you to that revolution. We will help you make sound investments in this new world. The world's best investors do not rely on their intuition. They embrace technology and AI to invest. Token Metrics uses AI to find invisible patterns in data to help you invest and trade in crypto. In the past, we have used our data-driven system to achieve financial freedom. Now, we are giving you the keys. We created Token Metrics to be the only platform you'll ever need to make money in crypto. We give you AI and access to crypto experts at the best price. The moon is not the limit. To the moon and beyond.
All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show, Token Metrics Live. I'm your host, Ian Valina, and Bill is back. Hey, Bill, how are you? Awesome. Hope everybody's having a good show. Let's do quick shout outs. Shout out to Kana. Hey, Kana. Great to have you here. Jake the Red. Tyrone Cameron. What's up? Yes, we are having a great week. To the moon. Definitely, for sure. Alice, great to see you here. CM Crypto, welcome to the show. Great to have you on board. Who else do we have? I think that's it for the moment. Over 25 people on the stream already. That's fantastic. We're in for a great show. We'll do a deep dive, answer your questions for the AMA as usual. Let me just pull up the agenda here as we go through it quickly. Just give me a second. Actually, maybe we don't have an agenda today. Apologies. Okay, so I'll just go through it verbally. So on the agenda today, we'll talk about coronavirus and also Bernie Sanders and the USA presidential campaign and how that impacts crypto. Because for those who are maybe outside the States, Bernie Sanders won the Nevada primary and he's basically on a roll. He's looking like possibly the clear-cut winner for the Democrats to go up against Trump. And we're here to analyze how crypto will be affected. So stay tuned for that. And then we'll also talk about the coronavirus and how people, and more importantly, how the global economy is being affected. And as usual, we'll have crypto therapy, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and altcoin TA, and plus the top 10 cryptocurrencies of the week. Let's hop into it. So Bill, tell us quickly, just kind of give us an intro on yourself. Okay, people are saying they can't hear Bill. Apologies for that. Bill, can you talk again? Just redo the intro. Let me know if you're having any issues hearing Bill.
Sure. Hi. If you can hear me. All right. So I'm Bill Noble. I built a brand as a technical analyst in volatile markets. So I started out as an intern during the first Gulf War, and the price action was so crazy, I took up charting. I did tours of duty with Morgan Stanley in the dot-com crisis, Goldman Sachs through the financial crisis in 2008 and the years thereafter. I have retail experience dealing with retail investors with Schwab. And then after that, I got crypto cred starting out with Charlie Shrem and here with Ian.
Awesome.
Did that come through?
Yes. So it was probably an issue on my end, I think. All right. That's good. And as usual, I'm Ian Bellina. Quick intro on me. Founder of Token Metrics, also partner at 100x Advisors, which is a blockchain investment and advisory company. Prior to that, I was working 4 years at IBM. Worked in IBM Analytics, so I love data analytics. Have a background as an engineer. Worked at Deloitte Consulting prior to that, and have been full-time in crypto for over 3 years now. And it's great to have everybody here. All right, so with that being said, I think I can now pull up my desktop here. It should be working now. Okay, so as usual, anything we talk about on this show is not financial advice. This is just our personal opinion. Always do your own research, consult a legal and financial advisor before investing in cryptocurrencies. Cryptocurrencies are very risky, so don't put in your rent money or life savings in crypto. Only invest what you're willing to lose. All right, with that being said, let's question of the day. This is a question I think is this really fits the environment we're in right now. So let's talk about the U.S. presidential candidate. Tell us, go to menti.com, MENTI.com, and use the code 143849. Once again, that's 143849. Let us know who is better for crypto out of the current presidential candidates, whether current President Trump or Sanders for the Democrats, or Warren, or somebody else. Let us know. Also tell us in the comments below who you think is better for crypto. Bill, what's your take on this?
All right. So we've been on the show and we've been doing the occasional joke about Bernie Sanders and the left wing, people doing things like wealth tax, right? That means if you have 10,000 in your bank account, you wake up one morning and you have 9,000 because the government is going to put your money to use.
Well
okay,
said.
so instead of a bailout, it's literally called a bail-in. I believe it happened in like Portugal, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I say these things and, Ian had the perfect reaction. It's like people are laughing like, okay, dude, you got to be kidding me. Are you the crypto guy? Yeah, whatever. Okay, now guess what? All right, the mathematics, I didn't just make this up. The mathematics of the election, right? So if you count the people who are liberal or left-wing in the United States, and then you count the people in the millennials generation that were severely negatively impacted by the financial crisis, and then you take into account my daughter's generation, Generation Z, okay, who grew up watching the millennials suffer from the financial crisis, you have a mathematical advantage if you're liberal. And with guys like Bezos buying $165 million bachelor pad apartment in Los Angeles, can you blame people if they're like, you know what? I'm feeling a little left out here.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like you to take the money from those people and give it to me. Now, we won't debate whether or not economics textbooks say that works or not. We won't do that. But people, it is happening. Okay. And I'm just here to tell you right now, I talked to the smartest person I know, and we are in agreement, and I will use his words. Bernie Sanders wins the Democratic nomination. Mm-hmm. He could mop the floor with Donald Trump in November.
Oh, really? Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
So now that I wasn't a mop the floor guy, mm-hmm. but if the smartest guy I know is thinking mop the floor, here's what it means for crypto. Okay. Mm-hmm. This means that everybody, okay, let me say that again. Everybody who's got money is going to need to protect it. It's going to need diversification, and that means gold and crypto, right? Because if you're about to get a 10% haircut on your brokerage account, the best thing you can do is not have a brokerage account and put your money on the thumb drive. Now, people like Ian, most of our audience would go, oh, well, yeah, of course. I've already got a cold wallet. Oh, okay. Well, most of the population doesn't know what a cold wallet is. Okay. And they're not going to worry about it. They're just going to go online and buy Bitcoin or whatever they can get their hands on. Mm-hmm. So, as this, the Democratic Party into itself is in denial about what's happening with Bernie. Like, do we really believe everything this guy believes? Well, I don't know. He keeps winning all the elections. So once the denial, like there's the political denial, the financial denial, and when they fall away, you're going to look at your screen one day and you're going to have, I don't know, you're going to have 14,000 Bitcoin. 14,000. Boom. Just goes there. Right. The fact that you've got this orderly creep means that people don't believe it yet, which is so good for our TV show. So we can talk about it before it happens.
Wow. Okay. So some people in the audience is saying Bill is tripping.
I know that's, I know Bill is tripping. I know.
Okay. So, so Sonny Sims saying Bill is tripping. He's saying wealth tax will not be 10% of a person with 10K in their bank account. Then Tyrone is saying Bezos also donated $10 billion to fight climate change. Yes, he did announce his climate change fund recently. Then Tyrone is saying it doesn't matter which Democrat is better because Trump will win in the election no matter what. So, here, let's go back to what Bill said earlier. I think it's very interesting. So you're saying your friend, he's an analyst or he's in politics?
He's a hedge fund manager.
Hedge fund man. Okay, so he thinks Bernie Sanders is going to win. Okay, I think it kind of depends who you ask.
It's just one guy, right? It's just like my market BFF, right? I mean, it's like your bartender. I mean, it's not an authoritative source at the Fed or anything. It's not like
so that. If I had to pick, I guess there are two questions: who we think is actually going to win, and who is better for crypto.
Right. So let's do it. Go ahead.
So I think who's most likely to win. I think Trump is going to win again because we're in a bull market. And I was watching TV actually last night. I was watching Fox News of all channels, and they were saying you don't run a socialist in a bull market. You run them in a bear market. And to me, that kind of hit home because I was like, Bernie would crush it in a bear market because when everybody's broke, devastated, we're in a recession, and you come in with the socialism agendas of, because I do like what he's saying in terms of free healthcare, free everything, but the question is, how do we pay for it? And he wants to tax Wall Street with a high frequency trading tax, which does scare the traders here as well, right? Especially those in crypto. So I'm just kind of curious to see what other people think. In terms of who I think is better for crypto, it's honestly tough for me to say. I'm kind of divided. I don't really know because Bernie Sanders could scare people to gravitate more towards crypto, but I'm not sure if that's the way we want to scare people to go into crypto. But then also Trump and his staff, the CFTC recently issued a memo stating that they plan to really come towards crypto. So I'm not sure what exactly that means. I think that's more from a regulation and compliance perspective, but that could also not be so good for crypto.
Yeah, and folks, remember this. Bernie Sanders or the virus or any geopolitical event, it's not the event itself. It's not whether he gets elected or not. It's not even whether you like him. It's the idea that the market has to price it in and take it seriously, right? Mm-hmm. So yes, if I pound the table on Bernie and I tell interesting stories about, what I think could happen, that's one thing. But it's another thing that somebody has to take it seriously. And when it gets taken seriously, it's going to get priced into markets. And then that leads into the next topic of, who are the new buyers in crypto? Well, it could be people looking to protect their wealth from a Bernie or people looking to move their money at crypto as a transit system for money, wherever it needs to go, out of China, out of the Middle East, into the United States, out of the United States. I could make a whole list. It's literally crypto could become a subway system. So this coronavirus, is also going to create not only demand for a transit system for money, okay, but it's also going to disrupt global supply chains. It just is. I'm not a biologist or a doctor. I just know that the stock market is priced for perfection. And when you talk about coronavirus and Bernie Sanders, that's not perfection, folks. It's not. So stock market portfolio managers are going to take a look at the creeping bid in Bitcoin, and they're going to say to themselves, well, the all-time high is 20 and it's now at 10. So it's half off.
Yeah, I mean, well said, well said. Okay, so lots of comments. So Tyrone says,
Am I getting cut off?
so no, I mean, so Tyrone says no president in history has lost an election with the economy doing this well. Yeah, I mean, I think it would definitely be an outlier if Trump loses with the economy going so great right now. Then James Lockyer says, doesn't matter who is your president, as he doesn't run the country, just a puppet. Okay. Okay. Next question or comment. You can't tax You can't tax corporations and the rich because they'll just leave the country. I mean, quite frankly, myself, I definitely did look into that option as well. But I love America so much that America's home. I mean, no matter how many, they would really have to jack up the taxes a lot to encourage people to leave just for tax reasons. Because, I mean, I've been everywhere around the world, over 40 countries, and America is beautiful. It's very tough to find a place like America. All right, so let's go back to the question of the day. Once again, go to menti.com, menti.com, use the code 143849. That's 143849. So the question was, who is better for crypto? And so far, the audience says Trump. Okay, very interesting, very interesting. Any comments on that, Bill?
Sure. So here's a story from 2016. So I'm watching what's going on, and I call my boss at the major investment bank I was working at the time. And I was like, hey, boss, you need to let me put a chart package together, okay, that gives people a plan if this guy Trump wins. And my boss was like, Bill, you're tripping. You're out of your mind. There's no way this guy's going to beat Hillary Clinton. Stop it. Yeah, we're going to get laughed at. Okay. Okay. So it's not like I like one guy over the other, right? I'm just an analyst that looks at what people think. Yes, obviously hammering rich people with taxes would probably, have some sort of huge economic impact. And Trump loves to shock people via Twitter, but economically he's a known quantity, right? It keeps the speculative juices in the stock market going, which could help crypto. And there's another side to the view, right? I just think people are not prepared. I mean, nobody was prepared for coronavirus. And if I had come to you and said, not only do I think Bernie is an issue for crypto, but there's also going to be an epidemic that's going to shock everybody, Ian would have just pulled the plug, right? And I would have disappeared. Right? So I mean, you have to take these things. These things are they're not theories; they're happening. So that's
right. So one thing I would like to bring up, actually, I've been reading this book. I'm about halfway through this book. It's called Win Bigly. It's a play on how Trump talks, but it's a book by Scott Adams, who's the creator of the comic series Dilbert, and he was one of the few, whether you want to call it pundits, who accurately predicted Trump winning the election. So he basically took his entire system or reasoning and put that into this book called Win Bigly. And it's really a book on persuasion. So this is not looking at things from a political perspective, but more on persuasion and convincing people to believe in something. Because at the end of the day, I strongly believe that winning presidential campaigns is really about persuasion, marketing, and sales. And he's basically looking at Trump's campaign and also all the other candidates' campaigns from a persuasion perspective. So a book I definitely highly recommend you check out. I've not finished the book, so I can't really give it an official review, but so far so good. Now, okay, so back to the question of the day. So people believe Trump is better for crypto. I mean, I think so far crypto is doing well. As Bill mentioned, I don't know how things would be if Bernie Sanders becomes president. I mean, I definitely was pro Bernie back during the last election. I definitely think the Democrats really stole the election from him, and that kind of left me jaded. I'm not really Democrat or Republican. I'm an independent. I always liked kind of being center in the middle, but it looks like Democrats are trying to steal it away from Bernie again. And I think if they do that again, it's going to be very, very... I mean, people are talking about this possibly being the end of the Democratic Party, because it seems like all of them don't want Bernie to win, but it looks like he's going to win. And the party is so divided by this. But anyway, I'll stop there. Go ahead, Bill.
No, I was just going to say that democracy voting thing is really inconvenient for some people.
Well said, well said. All right, so I think that's it in terms of this topic. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Coronavirus and stocks. Okay, Bill, do you want to kind of cover this?
Sure. Okay, so here's how I want to look at the coronavirus, right? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a biologist. But if you read the news, this is a national security issue, not just for the United States, for everybody, for the Chinese. I saw a news article, they built a hospital in 8 days. Okay. You don't build a hospital in 8 days because you're worried about a health issue. It's a national security issue. Now, why am I hammering on that? That's because if global supply chains get disrupted, for governments, that's going to be a secondary priority. Okay. We can make all the jokes we want about government or presidential candidate. Any textbook will tell you flat out, the primary job of government is to protect the people. Okay. Police, military, ambulance, fire, etc. So everybody thinks that, the governments will have a remedy for this. They'll just print money. Everything looks bad, but it'll be okay. And no. The governments are going to have to protect themselves. They're going to have to protect their people, and economics and stocks and earnings for the first time in God knows how long are secondary. Okay. And when the equity market figures that out, and believe me, people, the equity market takes a really long time to figure things out. Okay. Lehman Brothers went bankrupt in 2007 and the stock market didn't go down for like a week. They waited for options expiration. You can Google it. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when the stock market sort of figures all this out, okay, there's going to be a reset there. Now, it could be a little reset, could be a big reset. I know that, crypto guys kind of all like to sit around and say, oh, the stock market, should blow up. Just because we had to live through 2018. So it's like the bitter crypto traders club, whatever. There's going to be a reset in risk assets. Okay. And if Bernie Sanders, takes Super Tuesday and the coronavirus headlines go from zero hedge to the New York Times.
Yeah.
Like I said, people have to take it seriously. Markets have to start pricing it in.
Yeah, because from all reports, they still haven't priced it in at all.
At all. No, of course not. It's just assumed the Fed will continue to print money and everything will be fine. And okay, so I don't know whether that's the case or not. I just know that if what's called the news flow, like, if the news is bad every day, okay, then markets will start to react. Okay. If bad news comes out like once a week, then markets get less sensitive to that news. But if there's like bad news like every day, the market will start moving until that news flow ebbs, right? So have we seen the worst of the virus? Have we seen the worst of Bernie? There's 50 states in the US and he just took Nevada, right? So
Yeah, I mean, I frankly don't really know much about the coronavirus, so I can't even really speculate. All I know is I know most. So we actually spoke offline about this. Lots of our friends in Asia are going on vacations for like 6 months out of Asia. I have some friends who are now back in America, in California. Some are going to Europe, and just escaping really. And I saw a post from a friend of mine who's in Hong Kong saying that the number of visitors, daily visitors in Hong Kong has gone from I think like 100,000 a day to like 20,000 or less. Basically, it's down over 80%. Like basically, nobody's going to Hong Kong, or for that matter, to China really. And I think it's pretty phenomenal what's happening. But I don't really know how that's going to affect other parts. Over here in DC, things seem to be fine. But I do know that CNN did put out a video recently showing that there's lots of xenophobia happening in parts of the country, like in Chinatown in New York, and I'm guessing probably even in here in DC, where traffic is just down. Number of people visiting is down just because it has the word China in it. And I think that the fact that Hong Kong is already in a recession, and if China goes into a recession, that affects the whole world because almost everything is now made in China nowadays.
Right. And on that note, Trump with the trade war gave everybody a warning, accidental warning on how to shift all their supply chain out of China. Right. When this trade war was crazy, if you went into a store, instead of made in China, the shirts would say made in Guatemala. People can switch the supply chain like that, right? Because of the trade war, right? So, I mean, how long does this have to go on? You know, I'm seeing an Instagram post from an ex-colleague who's like, hey, I'm in Costa Rica starting my life over, you know, and I don't think she speaks Spanish. So, you know, people are just getting on a plane, and not only they're not visiting Hong Kong, but people are just saying, okay, well, you know what? It's going to go bartend in Costa Rica. I really don't want to die of the coronavirus. So that's it. So when you start seeing these things, you know, they're funny. Like Bernie was funny. Bernie was pretty funny in, you know, January. It's not funny anymore.
Right. Yeah. So actually, speaking of that, there was a report this week saying that Apple's forecasts are already down because they've been impacted by the coronavirus. So in a way, it is kind of starting to affect some stocks. So if I put
they're all doing pre-announcements, right? And this speaks to like negative news flow, right? Everybody wants to like lower the bar as fast as they can.
Yeah, so it's happening for Apple. Then here's a report from CNBC, Nike as well. Shares of Nike are down more than 4% over the last month. Even though analysts still say they're buys, but it is starting to hit lots of companies that have huge, I guess, distribution places in China. All right. Any last words on that, Bill, before we wrap up?
No, you know, I think we crypto people, we all know what we think of the stock market. It's just a question of, you know, when.
All right. Well said. Okay. All right. So on to the next topic. Once again, go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 143849. That's 143849 to post a question. All right, so now it's time for cryptotherapy. We're going to look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, and alts. All right, let me know when you're ready, Bill.
Okay. All right. So I just shared my screen. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Oh, okay. All right. So let's start with a little bit about Bitcoin. And it's kind of a theme that I've seen in markets. Okay. There's something called a retracement. All right. That means markets will go up. All right. And then they'll retrace a certain amount. It's just jargon, right, for a correction. And what I'm seeing in Bitcoin is launching itself off the 38% retracement of this big move up. Okay. In other words, 9,600 seems to be important. Okay. Now you're like, well, who cares? Well, in Litecoin, we're seeing the recent dip. Okay. Where did it go to? A 38% retracement. Okay. My pet project, Monero. Okay. Big dive from 96 to 76, 38% retracement. Okay. Now, why does that matter? Well, in my experience in the stock market, when you have an orderly bull trend, okay, that means something that's sustainable, not like a, kind of like a crypto pump where it just like goes up and then just dribbles off and just doesn't go back up again. This is an orderly bull market. Okay. When you start seeing things reacting off 38% retracements, said very simply, it means it's going to continue to go up. Okay. It's going to continue to go up. It's not a coincidence, I don't think, that there's a battle in Bitcoin at 9,600. This is a big level. Mm-hmm. Okay. Ethereum. Okay. There isn't the retracement thing here, but here's something I just want to bring to your attention. Do you remember us talking about Ethereum being the basketball underwater?
Yes.
Right. Okay. And this parallel channel, when this broke out, Ethereum just went straight up. Folks, I took a look at what Token Metrics' AI is saying about Ethereum. And you've heard us say bullish things about Ethereum in the past. Folks, you want to see me tripping? Here's me tripping. If Ethereum takes out, like, say, 320, okay, then in my opinion, Ethereum could just go right to 1320.
1320.
1320.
So $1,000 gain. Wow.
Yeah. Right. In other words, is it alt season or is it not alt season? That is the question. Mm-hmm. Okay. And alt is defined as any coin that's not Bitcoin. Okay. If crypto becomes a transit system, okay, look at this Ethereum chart. Okay. Ethereum was at 837 in May of 2018. Okay. I'm not talking about ancient history, people. Okay. I'm not talking about ancient history. So Ethereum is undervalued. Okay. And you can see things like Dash, okay, holding prior support line, prior tops, right? So this was once a ceiling, this blue line, and now it's kind of a floor. Okay. This is yet another sign that every time crypto goes down, there are buyers. Okay. So is it like nirvana yet? No. But the good news is with Ethereum here, this could be the leader. Okay. I mean, it's like, would you short that?
No.
No. Okay. Would you get in the way? No. So, I mean, sometimes technical analysis is really simple. It's like, it's going up. I'm bullish. I'm still bullish. And if I'm wrong, carry me out. No. I'm dug in. So I know it's like crypto is like, we talk about the moon, we talk about Lambos. I think you can talk about all that stuff. Okay. But I think you can think of it in terms of like a gigantic bull market that is a mirror image of the 2018 bear market, right? So how much pain did you go through in 2018? This is the therapy part. How much pain, right? Mm-hmm. How much pain is the crypto industry still living with as a result of that bear market? Okay, so here's the amount of pain, right? Now, take that amount of pain and turn it into joy, and multiply it by 3, and imagine what that's like. That's what the moon and beyond looks like, a bull market, right, for the ages. Because we have a cocktail here that's incredible, right? Like, no one's going to get in front of Ethereum. No one's going to stop Bernie Sanders. No one's got a cure for the but crypto was all about having an alternative to fiat, right? Satoshi, right? So if the day has come where we need an alternative to fiat, don't be one of those crypto people that goes, huh? What? No, that can't happen. Oh, yes, it can. And oh, yes, it is. So
Yeah.
our time is up.
I think well said, well said. So just to kind of add to that, so I'm personally very, very bullish on Ethereum. Their narrative definitely does align as well. We have Ethereum 2.0 in the works. We have DeFi. DeFi is really going to be the trend, I think, that can be the catalyst that takes Ethereum to over 1,300, as Bill mentioned, based on the TA. But from the fundamental side, DeFi is what ICOs were to Ethereum in 2017. Because with things happening like the flash loan and over $1 billion now locked up in DeFi, and that number increasing and increasing and increasing, I think DeFi is a new trend that lots of investors are going to try to wave surf. So I'm very excited. I'm obviously trying to learn more about DeFi as well. Just got my first DAI cryptocurrency I'm holding. Went out for dinner last night with a crypto friend, and he paid me back in DAI. so I'm in. All right, let's take some questions here from the audience. Okay. Joe Ball says DeFi and staking will easily take Ethereum to trillions. $1 trillion cap should be around 10K. Wow. Okay. I mean, that's quite a long way, but I mean, why not? Why not? Okay. So
hey, if we're going to trip on the show, let's go for it, you know?
Okay. Kiran says products now say made in PRC instead of made in China. Many don't know PRC is People's Republic of China. Haha. Okay, very interesting. Mr. Coin says, Ian, when are you having a soccer party on the islands? I mean, I haven't traveled yet. I've kind of been here in DC, but next bull market and moon, I would say if Ethereum goes past 2,000, I'll travel anywhere. All right. Okay. So let's go on to the next section here. Okay. So question of the day. Second question of the day. Go to menti.com, menti.com. Use the code 143849. That's 143849. The question is, do you have an account where you can short stocks? Once again, the question is, do you have an account where you can short stocks? Okay, Bill, so what's the premise of this question?
All right, so we wanted to take the temperature of our audience, right? We wanted to see if they're pure crypto players or whether they've got a variety of investments and could make like a kind of a double bet, like a long crypto, short equities type of play. And sort of the further backdrop goes something like this. Let's say, I don't know, let's pretend Ian is a portfolio manager and I'm his boss at a fund, right? And, Ian can trade anything he wants. He trades mostly stocks, right? And if Ethereum goes from 300 to 1,300, I come see Ian. I go, Ian, you've got a dump truck load of Ethereum, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, pretending Ian is not Ian. He goes, no, actually, we don't. We were thinking something else, Bitcoin. No one has that. No one has it, right? So if everybody goes, oh no, I have to get short stocks, okay, that could create downward pressure in stocks. But people may also go, well, wait a minute. If I can't get short stocks, I may have to just like buy a ton of Ethereum. This is on the institutional side. So I'm doing two checks here. Can retail short stocks? And can the people that short stocks, will they buy Ethereum? It's just an interesting way to think about it.
All right. Okay. So let's see what our audience says thus far. Most of them say yes. Yes, they do have a way they can short stocks. Okay. I'm guessing they probably use a discount broker Okay, now it's no. Okay, it's musical chairs. So I know in the past I used some discount brokers. I used TD Ameritrade, and I had a great experience with it. They now were purchased by Charles Schwab, I believe, and then some other retail broker company was purchased as well, I think, recently.
Right. Morgan Stanley bought E-Trade.
E-Trade. Okay.
You know, so another another sign of the apocalypse when, you know, brokerage firms are all grabbing each other for, you know, they're all buying each other. I mean, Schwab bought Cyber Trader in Austin, Texas at the top in 2000. I mean,
Really? So you're saying it's a sign of the top when they're trying to acquire more platforms?
yeah, I mean, you can Google it, the Wall Street Journal. You know, in crypto, we had the guys with the ugly sweaters in the New York Times in January of 2018 going, everyone's getting filthy rich and you're not, right? And they were wearing Bitcoin sweaters. Recently, the Wall Street Journal reported that there was a money manager who had a license plate Dow 30K, and he was posing with a picture with his new license plate that said Dow 40K. Okay, because it's going to the moon, right? It's just going to keep going up forever. You know, and I think it's going up forever, and I'm going to put it on my license plate. And normally when you see that,
Time
you
to
know
cash out.
it is time to cash out. Now, you know, with these big brokerage firms buying each other, you know, some of that could be just about getting assets under management, you know, expecting a, you know, kind of lower interest rate environment, right? So they've got to increase the assets that they have so that they can earn interest on those assets. So, you know, it may not be what it was, say, in 2000, but, you know, Dow 40K on a license plate could potentially live forever, just like the ugly sweaters might.
Yeah. Might not age well.
Right. It may not age well. Exactly.
Okay. All right. So, quick question here. Ryan says, I've been shifting my Ethereum over to XTZ, which is Tezos personally. Okay. Bill, are you able to pull up Tezos? So, my quick comments on that. I've been hearing lots of hype around Tezos recently. Now, they do have lots of people that are currently staked on Tezos. But I think when you hear everybody talking about a particular coin, it's definitely a good time to take some profits off the table. And Ryan, you definitely aren't the first person this week who's talked about Tezos at all. I know lots of crypto fund managers have been looking into Tezos. And when they start doing that, to me, it's really a sign to take some profits because maybe it's due for a correction. But let's see what the TA tells us.
Okay. So a lot of times when you have like a parabolic crazy market, okay, this is the same type of tool we used in Matic. Okay. So this is, okay, so I'm looking at it versus Bitcoin on a daily chart basis. Okay, so, you know, Tezos has gone up a lot, but it could actually go up a lot more, I think.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, you know, is this something that you want to run out and buy today? I don't know. I think if we're all going proof of stake, I like Ethereum at 270 better. Okay. But again, this is an object in motion, and you can clearly see right here that people are buying the dip, right? They're just buying the dip. So when you see things like that, you know, do you have to get off the train? No. Okay. But if doing something like this and jumping into something like this would mess your head up if it all of a sudden lurched lower and corrected, okay, then you don't want to get involved, right? So, you know, I was a huge Tezos fan. You know, I said I wanted Tezos to be the thing that Santa brought me for Christmas. I would switch that over to Ethereum now. I would view this as a leading indicator of what can happen in the proof of stake universe.
All right. All right. Thank you, Bill. Okay. All right. Let's go. So going back to the question. So most people do say they have a way they can short stocks. All right. So now it's time for us to pull up the Tokenmetrics rankings, the top 10 rankings. So let's go to tokenmetrics.com. So this is actually the portfolio I made last week, the model portfolio. This is not my portfolio. This is just a portfolio we made based on the top 10. So it's only up $300 or so, not down, which is always good because that's rule number one: don't lose money. And this portfolio is primarily Ethereum. It was an Ethereum heavy portfolio. Now looking at the new rankings on tokenmetrics.com. So recall last week we had Bitcoin out of the top 10. Then this week it did pop back in. And now we have the new ratings as of today, right now. Now obviously this is not financial advice. This is just what our research shows. So top 10 cryptocurrencies at the moment. So this looks like it's mainly based on TA. So we have Decred, NEM, Ethereum, 20x is now in the top 10. Misago, Ontology, Lisk, Nebulous, Ripple, and Swipe. Now, I've not heard of that one. Okay, so definitely a very interesting list. Let me pull up 20x so I know lots of our audience made money on this back in 2018. Now, currently, just ignore the weights here at the bottom. We're having some issues updating those in real time. So just check the final grades here at the moment. So Bill, any comments on this list?
Sure. I took a look at it and I had a real simple thought. Crypto hedge funds may be doing the equivalent of like picking their alt, right? Like I know you could try to Google Delphi report on Decred. That's where I first got interested in it, right? So our AI may be picking up on hedge funds scooping this stuff up, hoping to get the next 50x out of one of these coins, right? So, people could be heavily active in Decred. That's how I read it, right? It's all in how you read the data, right? So if the Ethereum universe is going to take off, there's probably going to be a group of alts that are going to follow, right? It stands to reason. So our system is probably giving you an alert as to what the institutions are doing, because I can tell you right now, institutional portfolio managers in crypto, think about it. These are aggressive, competitive guys. They survived 2018, and you can bet your what that they are not going to miss a 20x or a moonshot, right? So I think this is picking up on their activity.
All right, very interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so Tyrone agrees with you, Bill. He says interesting theory. Okay. All right. So anybody with any comments thus far? Let's check the comments from the audience here. Daniel says 88% of people are staking on Tezos. Yeah, I definitely find that to be very interesting. Let me see if I can pull that up here. Anybody know what site that can be found on? I think maybe stakingrewards.com. Okay, let me pull this up here. All right, so stakingrewards.com says they have 78%. So basically 80%. I'm not sure where the 88% is coming from. Maybe that's a different site. But if 8 out of 10 people are staking Tezos, I mean, that's pretty good. I'm not sure exactly how long, if people have a lockup when they stake Tezos, because I haven't staked Tezos myself. Anybody know what the lockup is on Tezos? Okay, yeah, actually it says right here. So for baking, the lockup is 14 days. All right, so so over 80% of people have the tokens locked up for 14 days. and the annual reward is 6.4%. All right. Then this is for that's for baking. So for delegating, okay, not really saying much here for delegating. But I mean, I definitely do think staking is a trend that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger, especially now that we have a lot more better coins out there like Tezos, and now Ethereum is going to be launching. Hey Anis, welcome. Thanks for checking in. Great to have you here. All right, so I think it's now time for us to get into the AMA. So before we do, if you haven't yet joined tokenmetrics.com, please make sure you do so. We have a 14-day free trial. Use the coupon code CryptoFamily, all caps, one word, CryptoFamily, to get 10% off of Token Metrics. And you can also become an affiliate and get paid to recommend Token Metrics to your friends, your crypto family. You can earn up to $480 per referral. We have over 200 affiliates already in the program, so definitely encourage you to join. All right, with that being said, it's time for us to start talking and answer your questions with the AMA. All right, so first question up, we have Richard H. is recycling ETH and the Hex AA lobby. I mean, not sure what the question is, but basically Hex coin is not a project we're bullish on, so we're avoiding that. We do have the full review up on tokenmetrics.com, and it's not a positive one. That's basically it. I mean, basically, don't lose your money. Any comments on Hex, Bill?
You know what? When it comes to things like that, I listen to the experts. So if our guys are like, don't touch it, don't touch it.
Okay. All right. So next question. Please look at the Insane Alts weekly volume in TradingView. Name of the chart is Crypto Total Market Cap, excluding BTC. Calculated by TradingView. 2017 volume high is already dwarfed. Alts will be king. Okay. All right. Well, let's go to Bill. Bill, are you able to pull that up?
Okay. I'm trying to pull that up right now. Okay. This is actually one of my favorite charts. Okay. And I am getting to the button right now. Yeah. Okay. So it's, I call it total 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Total market cap excluding Bitcoin. Okay. So you can watch me draw on my screen here. Just give me a minute. Here's the bottom line, folks. This thing is headed for a massive inflection point. Okay. So if you look here, okay, on this side, right here, okay, that was April of 2018. Okay. There was a rally up, and then that was kind of the end of alts, right? Alts crashed and then did this base. Okay. So this sort of like the end of alts point, you can see it was resistance right here. Okay. You see how like the alt universe, the non-Bitcoin universe stopped there. Okay. So here we are. We're back again, right? We're back again right here. And our friend who called in is rightly saying that when you see a volume surge in a base or in a consolidation, the breakout is massive, right? And this is the hedge fund footprint, right? This is guys going, there's no way I'm missing this. So whatever it is they're buying that's not Bitcoin, they're buying it with gusto. Okay. And when this breaks out, I mean, it's almost laughable how much it can go up.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, yeah, because the last top was, I see 2018. What's
right? In other words, at 460 billion was the alt market cap, and it's now at something like, I don't know, 100. Where is it? 103 billion. Okay. So, you know, this is part, I'm glad this person brought this up. I'm really happy about it because this was all part of my like Ethereum thesis, right? That once Ethereum takes out like 320, it's gone, right? I mean, if you look at alts, the way alts dropped here, okay, I haven't brought this up before, but it's simple physics: speed, magnitude, and direction. What goes down a certain way, when it goes back up the same way, right? So, you know, to the moon and beyond is a classic in crypto. But when you start backing it up with charts, when you start backing it up with volume, when you start backing it up with clear-cut fundamental events that are not priced into markets, you know, I'm from New Jersey, just we would say, forget about it.
Forget about it.
Forget about it.
All right. Well said. Well said. Okay. So let's go on to the next question as I pull it up here. Okay. So Feb 21st was huge for Phantasma Chain and 22 Racing Series. The first Phantasma Bronze Hypercar NFT went for $1,000 or 30,001 SOL. I personally haven't looked at Phantasma in a while. Let me see if we have it here. So, yeah, so we've not yet added Phantasma. I know they're trading on KuCoin, but volume has been pretty low. I think under 100,000 or so. And also some of the exchanges as well. I think Bialexi might be the other exchange. Bill, have you looked at Phantasma? So?
I have not.
Yeah, I don't think that's on TradingView either, to my knowledge. Okay, but let's go to the next question here. Okay, hi Ian. Reserve Rights is backed by Peter Thiel, PayPal co-founder, Coinbase, Sam Altman, Y Combinator, and it's on a massive run. Huge FOMO occurring. What do you think of RSR? So that we do have, I believe. So Tokemetrics is saying the TA is not really there at the moment. Maybe Bill can double check from his side as well. I mean, it has been on a run recently, though. This is trading on Huobi. You able to pull that up, Bill?
I am.
Okay.
I am. Okay. Okay. So, you know, this is kind of a good time to bring up the idea of the bigger the base, the higher into space. Okay. Now, this is not an endorsement of this coin. This coin, what has it done? Well, it does what all these coins do. It goes up on the first day, and then everyone sells it, right? Here, okay? And then it doesn't do anything, and then new buyers emerge, or a pump emerges, or whatever. Now, in this case, when you see these type of charts, this is very similar to what we were just looking at on Total 2, right? The longer something sits in a basing period, the bigger the rally is when it actually turns and goes. So the question is, you know, is this a believable rally in this particular coin? You know what? Why not? Right? I mean, the person who called in had a sort of detailed fundamental case for why they liked it. I think we're entering a period in crypto, whereas if you've got something that has a legitimate fundamental case, a technical case, the algos like it, take your pick, right? So it's kind of, it's almost a different mindset than it was. It's a different answer than what I would have given you a couple of months ago. You know, I would have said, well, that's okay, but okay, I'm dropping that.
All right. Thank you for that, Bill. Okay, let's go on to the next question. Okay. All right, this seems interesting. All right, so alts I bought are about 10% to 20% down. I am hearing Wells would dump alts and go big on BTC and ETH. In that case, my alts will be further down. Is it better to dump alts now? Okay. So question is it better to dump alts now? I mean, my gut reaction would say probably not. I mean, it also depends what alts you're holding, right? Whether they're fundamentally good. But if we're getting into alts season, I think the time to have dumped alts might have been a while back. What's your take on this, Bill?
Okay, so let's do it this way. If you walked into your living room and said, "Oh my God, that chair is ugly. I'm so sick of it." What would you do with the chair? You get rid of it. You wouldn't even think about it. You'd be just like, "I'm done."
Right.
Now, if you have altcoins, you're smart in your portfolio, you're smarter than you think you are in terms of your ability to evaluate them. Seriously. So is it time to dump all altcoins? No. Is it time to do a portfolio review to say, what do I think of this altcoin? Why am I bullish? Seriously, like if you look at an altcoin and you can't remember why you're bullish, then that's the ugly chair. Okay. Mm-hmm. So everybody has their reasons for being in a position. If you bought something because you thought you were going to retire on it, you might choose a different option. So you can evaluate each one of these things. I don't think anybody's going to dump altcoins in mass, but I do think the definition of an altcoin has changed from these little tiny things that go up 50x to much bigger things that go up 5x, right? Because that's, it's shocking when Litecoin goes from 25 to 100 because everyone's like, well, it's not an altcoin. Well, yes, it is. So that is how I would suggest doing your portfolio, right? Take a deep breath, go for a walk, and ask yourself, why do I own this coin?
Yeah, I think well said. That's also why we have token metrics. Token metrics can help you really look at your portfolio and say, why am I holding this? Looking at the fundamentals, the technology. So for instance, if I pull up our model portfolio here, we have the grades baked into the portfolio. So you can go through here and say, for instance, why am I holding Steam in this model portfolio or Otter? Now, Ethereum looks good, Qtum and 0x and all these others are basically good to be in the portfolio, but these other coins, why are they there? And I think that's something you should definitely do at whatever set interval you have for rebalancing your portfolio, whether it's annually, quarterly, monthly, weekly, whatever period of time you have. Write that down on your calendar and make sure you go back and revisit and resell yourself as to why you're holding these cryptocurrencies. And if you can't resell yourself, as Bill said, then you should probably get out. But I mean, I think it's alt season, so I do think it makes sense to hold some alts, but you have to make sure you're holding the right alts, because as we've seen in past bull markets, not every cryptocurrency goes back up. It's because now the space is more competitive. We have new currencies coming out that are more innovative as well. So what was in the top 10 or top 20 or top 50 market cap 2 years back won't necessarily go back this time around. So I think that's definitely something to keep in mind. All right, great question. Okay, let's go to the next one. All right. I see a small 5x next to BCH USDT in Binance and next to a few others. Can you help me understand that? Any use of it? I think that's the leverage you're talking about. That's what that means. I haven't really used Binance in a while. Binance kind of took away American traders or they kicked us out to go to Binance US. So I haven't really been trading much, but I believe that means leverage trading, if I'm correct.